It is now 2 weeks, less than 2 weeks before the US presidential elections. And this is an election of extraordinary crisis. It is dominated by two interrelated elements. One, the escalating global war, and second, the deep crisis of democratic forms of rule in the United States. And what is the framework of official politics? You have, on the one hand, Trump and the Republican Party, who are openly plotting to reject the outcome of the election if it does not lead to a Trump victory, utilizing their control over states, state governments, local police force, and employing methods of extra-parliamentary violence. Kamala Harris, the vice president and the Democratic Party candidate, issued a statement just this afternoon, which is all of 3 minutes long, in the middle of the day, in which she, referencing earlier remarks by former Trump administration official John Kelly, referred to Trump as a fascist, that he would govern as a dictator, and comparing him to Hitler. The fascistic character of the fascist character of the Trump campaign is something that the Socialist Equality Party has been warning about over an extended period of time. It is now sort of bursting into the open in the final weeks of the election. What was remarkable, there were many elements remarkable about Harris's perfunctory remarks, but one of them, or one of the most critical, is there was no explanation of where this comes from. Trump was presented merely as an individual. She did not actually even refer to the Republican Party or give any indication of the social forces that are behind the extreme crisis of democratic forms of rule in the United States. Trump is not simply an individual. He is the candidate of the Republican Party. And there are significant sections of the ruling class in the United States that are pouring money into his campaign, including the world's wealthiest individual, Elon Musk. That is the Republican campaign. On the other hand, you have the Democratic Party campaign. The orientation of the Democratic Party is, in fact, to the right, to the Republican Party. Harris has been campaigning in recent days with Liz Cheney, the daughter of Dick Cheney, the former vice president, architect of the Iraq War, torture, Guantanamo Bay, and that is their orientation. At the same time, making clear that their economic policy will be even further to the right than the Biden administration. This is the character of the Democratic Party. Indeed, now almost 4 years since the January 6th coup, as we are on the verge of another attempted coup in this election, it's worth recalling that the response of the Biden administration, Biden himself, was to declare the necessity for a strong Republican Party. Why? Because the basic policy focus center of the Democratic Party, the Biden administration, and now the Harris campaign and any future Harris administration is the escalation of war. That is their priority. The Democratic Party is a party of Wall Street, of the military intelligence agencies. It's responsible for the genocide in Gaza, which is now escalating, new crimes every day, the escalating US-NATO war against Russia, the regional war in the Middle East, the preparations for confrontation with China. That is the priority of the Democratic Party. And it is impossible to defend democratic rights through the framework and to oppose fascism through the framework of this reactionary party. We will be reviewing in this meeting the experience of the past year of the protests against the genocide in Gaza, including the offensive, the repression, mass arrests, threats of expulsion from university of students, of even deportation, carried out with the support of the entire political establishment, which has promoted the slander of anti-Semitism to justify escalating attacks on free speech, the deployment of police onto college campuses with the connivance and participation of university administrators, and with deep ties to both the Democratic Party and the Republican Party. This has been overseen by the Biden-Harris administration. There is, in fact, no commitment to democratic rights, basic democratic rights within any section of the ruling class. The principal concern of the Democratic Party is the growth of opposition from below, that anything might disrupt its war plans. That is its central concern. So the question of the defense of democratic rights, and this is very much connected to the whole experience of the protests against the genocide, that the defense of democratic rights has to be connected to opposition to imperialism, and that has to be developed as a movement against the whole corporate financial oligarchy, the massive levels of social inequality, which are incompatible with democratic forms of rule. And that has to be based in the working class, that the working class is the social force that has to be mobilized against war, in defense of democratic rights, in opposition to the ongoing attacks on students engaged in protests against the genocide, the sort of reign of terror, police state atmosphere on campuses. The social force that has to be mobilized is the working class on the basis of its own political program, in opposition to the whole framework of bourgeois politics, and in opposition to the capitalist system in the US and internationally. And that is what we are fighting to do. The Socialist Equality Party, myself and my running mate, Jerry White, are fighting to do in this election.